Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Yeah?
You know the drill, you give us the topic. We gather the intel, and we unearth some seriously cool insights together.
That's right.
And today we're diving deep into Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically the heart and soul of the series, Yuji Itadori.
My favorite.
So, it sounds like you want to go all in on Yuji, exploring like every nook and cranny of his character.
Everything.
And trust me, you've come to the right place. We've got mountains of material, like from his origin story to his complex powers to the evolution of his beliefs.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be here a while.
Hey, before we continue, remember to subscribe, to stay informed, and join us on this journey.
Do it.
Now, to help me navigate the intricate world of cursed spirits and jujutsu sorcery, I've got a true expert by my side.
Hello. What's
fascinating about Yuji, wouldn't you say, is that he's not your typical hero.
No, not at all.
He's just kind of thrown headfirst into this dangerous world with no training, no warning, just a desperate act of self-sacrifice.
Exactly that single act, consuming Sukuna's finger to save his friends.
Yeah.
It sets the stage for like everything that follows. You know, it reveals his core values, his unwavering loyalty, his instinctive drive to protect others, even when facing overwhelming danger.
Right.
This is a kid who, moments before, was just a regular high schooler, worried about his dying grandfather hanging out with friends.
Right.
Suddenly, he's a vessel for the king of curses. Talk about a paradigm shift.
Right. It's almost like the universe was like testing him, pushing him to see what he was truly made of.
Absolutely.
And from that moment on, Yuji's life just becomes this whirlwind of intense training, brutal battles, and this constant internal struggle against the darkness within him.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting, because despite this sudden immersion in the world of jujutsu sorcery, Yuji never loses sight of his humanity. He clings to his values, especially his belief in the sanctity of life and the importance of a proper death.
That's a big one.
It's almost unheard of for a jujutsu sorcerer to hesitate to kill curses.
Right.
That's exactly what Yuji does early on.
You can really see him wrestling with the weight of taking a life, even if it's a cursed spirit that poses a threat.
Oh, absolutely.
He's constantly questioning, doubting, grappling with the moral implications of his actions. It's this internal conflict, this unwavering sense of right and wrong that makes him so compelling, so relatable.
Definitely, it's a stark contrast to the often callous and pragmatic nature of the jujutsu world.
Yeah.
You know, he's surrounded by experienced sorcerers who have, to a certain extent, become desensitized to the violence and death that permeate their existence.
Right.
But Yuji refuses to let go of that empathetic core.
It's like he's a beacon of light in a world consumed by shadows.
I like that.
But that light is constantly threatened, not just by the external dangers he faces, but by the darkness lurking within him. Sukuna.
Oh yeah, their relationship is one of the most fascinating and complex aspects of Yuji's character. Imagine having the most powerful cursed spirit.
Right.
A being capable of unimaginable cruelty.
Oh yeah.
Sharing your body.
Sharing your body.
And it's a constant source of fear, anxiety.
Yeah.
And a nagging sense of responsibility.
And the fact that he can't fully control Sukuna's influence just adds another layer of tension. At any moment, Sukuna could take over, wreaking havoc and potentially harming those Yuji cares about most.
Absolutely. It's a heavy burden to bear, and it's constantly shaping his thoughts, his actions, his entire worldview.
And then comes the Shibuya incident.
Oh.
This isn't just another battle, it's a catastrophic turning point for Yuji. He witnesses Sukuna using his own body, unleashing this horrific massacre.
It's bad.
Taking countless innocent lives, possibly even one of his closest friends.
Yeah, that's the kind of trauma that leaves an indelible mark.
It forces him to confront the true extent of Sukuna's power, the potential for destruction he carries within him. And it shatters his naive belief that he can somehow control this force, that he can protect everyone.
The Shibuya incident is a brutal wake-up call.
Yeah.
It forces him to reevaluate everything he thought he knew about the jujutsu world, about his role in it, and about himself.
Yeah.
And the psychological impact is immense.
Oh, yeah.
He goes from this idealistic, almost naive young sorcerer to someone grappling with disillusionment, grief, and even a sense of nihilism.
There's a shift in his ideology.
Yeah.
He starts to see himself as just a cog in a ruthless machine. A tool to be used against curses.
Right.
Even if it means sacrificing his own well-being, his own humanity.
It's a pretty dark path.
It is.
Yeah.
But even in that darkness, there's a glimmer of his inherent spirit, that unwavering desire to do good.
Yeah.
He never completely abandons his belief in saving people. Mm-hmm. But the question becomes, how can he do that when he's constantly battling this internal demon, this embodiment of chaos and destruction?
Right, and that leads us to the next layer of Yuji's complexity, his abilities.
Okay. How does a seemingly ordinary kid, even one with superhuman athleticism, transform into a powerful sorcerer capable of going toe-to-toe with some of the most formidable curses in existence?
Well, it's a combination of factors. First, let's address his raw physical prowess.
Okay.
The sources describe him as a natural athlete capable of running 50 meters in just 3 seconds.
Yeah, I read that. He can punch through concrete walls, bend a metal goalpost with a lead ball, even toss a car like it's a toy.
Wow.
This is a kid who was already pushing the boundaries of human potential before he ever encountered cursed energy.
And that athleticism forms the foundation for his incredible fighting style.
Yeah.
He's agile, acrobatic, and possesses remarkable strength and stamina. But it's not just brute force. He's a quick learner, rapidly mastering techniques like the manji kick and the knee release,
right,
seamlessly blending them into his own dynamic combat style.
It's like he has this natural instinct for combat, a knack for adapting and improvising in the heat of battle.
Absolutely.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. There are hints of Taido martial arts in his movements.
Taido?
Yeah, Taido is a real-world discipline that emphasizes fluid, dance-like movements, blending strikes, kicks, and throws, with a focus on agility and deception. It's all about using your opponent's momentum against them, creating openings and exploiting weaknesses.
Okay.
And you see echoes of that in Yuji's fighting style.
That's so cool.
It's like he's instinctively tapping into this ancient martial art, even though there's no indication he's ever formally trained in it.
Right.
It speaks to his natural talent and adaptability.
Yeah.
But let's not forget the other half of the equation. His cursed energy.
Oh yeah, this is where things get really complicated.
Because unlike most sorcerers who inherit or develop their own unique cursed techniques, Yuji's power stems directly from Sukuna. He doesn't have an innate technique, but he channels Sukuna's immense cursed energy in ways that are both fascinating and terrifying.
Yeah, it's almost like he's trying to tame a wild beast.
Right.
Learning to harness its power for his own purposes.
And we see this most clearly in the evolution of his techniques. Remember when he first started using Divergent Fist?
Oh, yeah.
It seemed almost accidental, like he couldn't fully control that delayed second impact after a punch.
Right. Initially, it was a consequence of his lack of control, almost a side effect of his struggle to contain Sukuna's power.
But over time, he learns to weaponize that delay, turning it into a tactical advantage, confusing opponents, and creating openings for devastating counterattacks.
Exactly.
It's a perfect example of how he's not just a passive vessel. He's actively learning, adapting, and finding ways to shape this raw power into something he can use.
I agree.
And then there's Black Flash, the elusive technique that even seasoned sorcerers struggle to master.
Black Flash is a perfect example of Yuji's potential.
Okay.
It's a technique that requires precise control over curse energy, a momentary surge that distorts space and amplifies the impact of an attack.
Right.
And Yuji, despite his limited experience, manages to execute it multiple times.
Yeah.
Even surpassing Gojo Satoru, arguably the strongest sorcerer in his control over it.
It's mind-blowing.
It is.
It suggests that he has an almost intuitive grasp of cursed energy manipulation, even if it's derived from Sukuna.
Yeah.
It raises the question, what other hidden depths does he possess? What other techniques might he unlock as he continues to grow and push his limits?
And we see further evidence of his evolving abilities when he consumes one of the death paintings, granting him the power of blood manipulation.
Okay.
This technique allows him to control and weaponize his own blood.
Gruesome.
A gruesome but undeniably effective addition to his arsenal.
It's like he's constantly adding new tools to his toolbox, finding ways to adapt and overcome any challenge he faces.
He's a resourceful guy.
But what's even more intriguing is that he starts to manifest echoes of Sukuna's techniques.
Oh, really?
Like the shrine technique.
Okay.
But with his own unique twist.
Right. The dashed lines and the cutting aspect of his version of the shrine technique are distinct from Sukuna's, suggesting that he's not simply mimicking the King of Curses.
Interesting.
He's finding ways to integrate those elements into his own evolving style.
So is he truly controlling Sukuna's power? Or is Sukuna subtly influencing his development, guiding him towards a specific path?
It's like a constant tug of war, a battle for dominance over this immense power they share.
And speaking of power, We can't forget about one of Yuji's most impressive feats, mastering the reverse cursive.
The reverse cursive technique is an incredibly rare and difficult skill. Even among the most experienced sorcerers, it allows the user to manipulate cursed energy to heal injuries, essentially reversing the flow of negative energy.
Right.
And Yuji, driven by his determination and compassion, manages to learn it.
Wow.
Further highlighting his incredible potential.
It's a testament to his willpower, his ability to push past his limits and overcome any obstacle.
Absolutely.
But all this raw power, these incredible techniques, wouldn't mean much without the relationships that shape him, that give him the strength to keep fighting. So let's shift gears and explore the bonds that define Yuji Itadori.
And that, my friend, is where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive. We'll delve into his connections with Megumi Nobara Gojo, and of course the ever-looming presence of Sukuna.
Sounds good.
So buckle up, because we're just getting started.
All right.
Welcome back. When we left off, we were about to delve into that web of relationships that shape Yuji Itadori, those bonds that provide him with strength, guidance, and a sense of purpose in this chaotic world of jujutsu sorcery. And perhaps the most significant of these connections is his bond with Megumi Fushiguro.
You know, when you think about it, it's almost poetic how these two characters with such contrasting personalities and approaches to jujutsu end up as the closest of allies. Megumi is all about strategy, precision, calculated movements.
Right.
While Yuji's more impulsive, relying on his instincts and raw power.
Yeah.
It's like they're two sides of the same coin.
Precisely. And that's what makes their dynamic so compelling. Their differences, rather than driving them apart, actually complement each other, creating a synergy that allows them to face challenges neither could overcome alone. Remember their first encounter, Megumi is initially wary of Yuji, seeing him as a potential threat due to his connection to Sukuna. But Yuji's selflessness, his willingness to put himself in harm's way to protect others, quickly earns Megumi's respect.
And that respect gradually deepens into something more profound. A genuine brotherhood forged through shared experiences, intense battles, and a mutual understanding of the sacrifices they have to make as jujutsu sorcerers. They challenge each other, push each other to grow, and ultimately have each other's backs no matter what.
Their bond is especially poignant when you consider the emotional baggage they both carry. Megumi is haunted by his past, burdened by the weight of his family's legacy and the expectations placed upon him. And Yuji, as we've discussed, is grappling with the trauma of the Shibuya incident and the constant fear of Sukuna's influence. They find solace in each other's company, a sense of understanding that transcends words.
And then there's Nobara Kugisaki, the fierce and independent sorceress who brings a much-needed dose of levity and groundedness to the group. I love how she refuses to be defined by the traditional expectations of a female sorcerer. She's confident, outspoken, and not afraid to challenge authority. She's a force to be reckoned with both in battle and in her personal life.
Nobara is a perfect foil to both Yuji and Megumi. Her pragmatism and unwavering self-belief provide a counterbalance to their anxieties and self-doubt. She reminds them that there's more to life than just fighting curses, that it's important to hold on to their individuality and find moments of joy amidst the darkness. And her relationship with Yuji is particularly interesting.
They have this amazing camaraderie, this playful banter that masks a deep and genuine respect for each other's abilities. They train together, fight side by side, and celebrate their victories with an infectious enthusiasm. They're partners in crime literally and figuratively, and their bond adds a much-needed sense of warmth and humor to the series.
And speaking of mentors, we can't forget about Satoru Gojo, the enigmatic and undeniably powerful sorcerer who takes Yuji under his wing. Gojo is a complex character in his own right, often shrouded in mystery and seemingly operating on a different level than everyone else. But despite his eccentricities, he recognizes Yuji's potential from the very beginning, seeing in him a raw talent and a purity of heart that's rare in the jujutsu world.
He's not your typical teacher, that's for sure.
No.
He's more of a guide, a mentor, who pushes Yuji to his limits, forcing him to confront his fears and unlock his true potential. And their relationship is one of mutual respect, even though their personalities clash at times. Gojo sees something special in Yuji, a spark of hope that he's determined to nurture.
And let's not forget about Oitoto, the eccentric and surprisingly insightful sorcerer who forms an unlikely bond with Yuji during the Kyoto Goodwill event Toto. With his unconventional training methods and his obsession with finding a woman who embodies his ideal of true love, might seem like a comic relief character at first glance. But beneath that boisterous exterior lies a keen understanding of jujutsu and a deep appreciation for those who possess genuine strength and conviction.
Their relationship is one of those unexpected gems that emerges from the chaos of battle.
Yeah.
They connect on a visceral level, sharing a love for fighting and a mutual respect for each other's abilities. Todo becomes a mentor of sorts, pushing Yuji to refine his techniques and understand the true nature of his power.
And what's remarkable is that Todo, unlike many other sorcerers, sees past Yuji's connection to Sukuna.
Yeah.
He recognizes Yuji's inherent goodness, his unwavering determination to use his power for good. He becomes a source of support and encouragement, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there are those who believe in Yuji and his potential to make a difference.
But of course, we can't talk about Yuji's relationships without addressing the elephant in the room, or rather the king of curses sharing his body, Sukuna. Their connection is a constant source of tension, a battle of wills that plays out on both a physical and psychological level. It's a parasitic relationship, one where Yuji is constantly trying to assert control to prevent Sukuna from taking over and unleashing his devastating power.
And Sukuna, being the manipulative and cunning entity that he is, seems to relish in this dynamic. He taunts Yuji, tests his limits, and occasionally reveals glimpses of his true power just to remind Yuji of the immense threat he represents. It's a psychological game of cat and mouse, and the stakes are incredibly high.
You can see the fear and resentment in Yuji's eyes whenever Sukuna emerges. But there's also a strange sense of begrudging respect. He recognizes Sukuna's power, his mastery of cursed energy, and perhaps even sees him as a twisted reflection of his own potential. It's a complex and disturbing dynamic, one that adds a layer of suspense and danger to every scene they share.
And it raises so many questions. Can Yuji truly control Sukuna? Will he eventually find a way to exorcise him to break free from this parasitic bond? Or will Sukuna ultimately corrupt him, twisting him into something monstrous? These are the questions that keep us on the edge of our seats, that make their relationship one of the most compelling and unpredictable aspects of the entire series.
It's like a ticking time bomb, and we're just waiting to see when or if it will detonate. But amidst all this darkness, all this talk of curses and battles and the constant threat of annihilation, it's important to remember that Yuji Itadori is at his core a fundamentally good person. He's driven by a desire to help others, to protect the innocent, and to make the world a slightly less awful place.
And that's what makes him such a compelling hero. He's not invincible, he's not without flaws, and he's constantly facing overwhelming odds, but he never gives up. He keeps fighting, keeps pushing forward, driven by his unwavering belief that even in a world as dark as this, there's still hope for a better tomorrow.
So we've covered a lot of ground in our exploration of Yuji Itadori. Delved into his origins, his personality, the evolution of his powers, that complex web of relationships.
Yeah.
But the question that lingers, the one that keeps us coming back to this story,
what's that?
Is what does the future hold for this extraordinary young sorcerer?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And it's one that Keijo Katami, the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen, has masterfully woven into the fabric of the narrative. You know, we're constantly left wanting more, eager to see how Yuji will navigate the challenges ahead, how his powers will continue to develop, what role he'll ultimately play in the fate of the Jujutsu world.
And I think that's part of the reason why Yuji resonates so strongly with readers and viewers. He's not a static character frozen in time.
Right.
He's constantly evolving, learning, adapting. He makes mistakes. He experiences setbacks.
Yeah.
But he never loses sight of his core values, that unwavering belief in doing what's right, even when it's difficult.
He's a relatable hero, someone who embodies the struggles and triumphs of what it means to be human in a world that often feels chaotic and unfair. He reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, there's always a flicker of hope, a spark of potential waiting to be ignited.
And that brings us back to you, our listener.
Yes.
We've shared our insights, our interpretations, but now it's your turn to weigh in.
That's right.
What are your thoughts on Yuji's future? How do you think he'll continue to grow as a sorcerer?
Yeah.
Will he find a way to break free from Sukuna's influence? Or is their fate inextricably intertwined? We'd love to hear your theories, your predictions, your hopes for this extraordinary character.
Because ultimately, that's what makes engaging with a story like Jujutsu Kaisen so rewarding.
Right.
It's not just about passively consuming information. It's about actively participating in the narrative.
Yeah.
Speculating, debating, and sharing our own interpretations.
Okay.
It's about connecting with characters who challenge us, inspire us, and remind us of the complexities of the human experience.
So let's keep this conversation going. Share your thoughts in the comments, engage with other fans, and let's dive even deeper into the world of Jujutsu Kaisen together.
And remember, this is just the beginning of our exploration. There are countless other characters, storylines, themes waiting to be uncovered. So stay tuned, subscribe to our channel, and join us as we continue to delve into the fascinating and ever-expanding world of anime and manga.
If you're enjoying these podcasts, make sure to subscribe. Thanks once again, and we'll see you